They're stateless, impoverished, and victims of ongoing human rights abuses. But how much do you know about the Rohingya of Myanmar? I'm Dina Tikruri, and here's a look at one of the world's most persecuted minorities. Myanmar, the country formerly known as Burma, was long considered a pariah state ruled by a military junta. But in 2011, half a century of military rule came to an end with democratic elections. But democracy hasn't brought universal freedom to all the people of Myanmar. And in Rakhine State, the rise of a militant branch of Buddhist nationalists has sparked what Human Rights Watch has called an ethnic cleansing against the minority Muslim population. Myanmar is at a geographic crossroad between China and India. It also shares borders with Bangladesh, Laos, and Thailand, which means it has long been ethnically diverse. In fact, the country recognizes 134 ethnic groups, but refuses to consider the 1.3 million Rohingya one of them, even though they've lived in Myanmar for centuries and call it their homeland. In 1982, a law was passed that denied them citizenship formally. They can't travel or get married without permission, they can't own land, and some of them are forbidden from having more than 2 children. Recently, in 2014, they were excluded from the country's first census in 30 years. To the majority of the country, they're merely squatters who illegally immigrated from Bangladesh. Over the past 2 years, long-simmering tensions erupted, with Rohingya coming under attack by mobs of Buddhist nationalists who claim that they are protecting the country against a Muslim invasion. It's Myanmar's worst bloodshed in generations, with Rohingya being burned out of their homes and held in de facto open-air prisons. Hundreds have died in various massacres. Fearful for their lives, several 100,000 Rohingya have had no choice but to flee. Here's how one Rohingya refugee who fled Myanmar described it. Being stateless and displaced makes them vulnerable to human traffickers who often extort money to get them across borders. Men get sold into indentured slavery, and women are sold as brides. Hundreds die at sea when their ships capsize. Myanmar is basically throwing its international legitimacy in question through its treatment of its most vulnerable minority. The violence against the Rohingya has also become a challenge for Nobel Peace Prize winner Aung San Suu Kyi's image as a unifying moral force. She's a devout Buddhist and now opposition leader in parliament. But this is what she had to say about the Rohingya.
No, it's not ethnic cleansing. It's a new problem, and yet it's linked to old problems as well.
So now that you know a bit more about the Rohingya people's plight, how do you think the international community should act?